Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mk4 Supra 1UZ swap. So it has been 2 months since my last video, and I actually had to just watch through it to see where I was at that time. And I'm just going to run through the updates. Well, first off, the reason why there was no video for such a long time is because I was battling with the prop shaft. Um, Long story short, I ended up with 6 different prop shafts altogether, but I will talk through that at the end of the video. So, since the last video, I've got the bonnet on, makes the car look a bit more complete. I've also finished off the wiring for the headlights and for the indicators and the fog lights and daylights, daytime running lights or whatever they call side lights. So, oh, and obviously put the bumper back on. So that makes the car look a bit more complete. I've also fitted the brakes, and also I have fitted, which I don't think you'll be able to see, I fitted the braided hoses, so that's all done and just requires bleeding. I have sort of done the fuel system. So this is the fuel return, which I'm not entirely happy with. And I've also finished off the fuel supply with the AN lines and adapter into the standard Sora fitting or 1UZ fitting. So that's all good. I just need to double check and tighten all the connections just to make sure it's all good. But I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to deal with this. It just doesn't look that great. Maybe I can get some clips to hold the pipes apart but together. So that's one thing to figure out still. Another thing is I've picked up a radiator. It's the VIF bits or whatever it's called. You can sort of see the make or the original source of the radiator. I've picked that up just yesterday. A nice thick aluminium radiator. Actually, that rag there was for a reason. So we'll put it back here. It's basically to stop that catching. First issue I have is the mounts don't really line up. So I think this one's okay and it lines up. If I just remove the rag. So this one lines up fine. But for some reason, this one is miles off. So unless I put it at an angle like that, I have a snapped bolt in there, so I need to drill it out. Looks like fun. Another thing that I have done is not that much actually. Back to radiator. So one thing that I will need to redo or modify is this inlet. It's basically completely wrong size, so I need to either adapt or cut the pipe, cut the hose, and get an adapter into a smaller size, or do something like that. And the same situation is at the bottom is way too big, or the original 1UZ hose is way too big. So that's pretty much everything I have achieved from the last time, apart from the drive shaft. And to talk about the drive shaft, I will get under the car. Spoiler alert, the drive shaft is on the car. So, the issue I've had was the fact that I couldn't find this end, which is this one is the E65 730D end. This prop shaft, the main bit, is actually off an LS430. But here's the reason why I actually had to get that instead of running, let's say, a Sora diff that I had. Sorry, the Sora prop shaft that I had, or a Toyota Supra Auto prop that I also purchased. So basically, the Supra and the Sora diff prop shaft wouldn't line up with the diff flange, because as it turns out, after ordering all these props and messing around, the flange has been changed on the diff to a turbo one, and the PCD is basically the distance between these bolts was different on the turbo flange to the just NA flange. After a lot of cross-referencing with the parts catalogs, I found that LS430 prop shaft fit, and it actually wasn't that expensive, so I picked one up from eBay and had it modified. So this section, the rear section, had to be shortened, and here's the professional weld. So that's all good. It lines up nicely here, and then it lines up there as well. I just need to bolt it back in, and this is also LS430 piece, and the reason that I needed this specific one is because this slides, so there's a bit of movement and adjustment here, whereas the NA Auto prop, which also didn't fit, it doesn't have this. Is the solid join here, but in the end everything has been done. The prop shaft has been balanced and nicely painted, so that's all cool. I just need to now make a gearbox mount, which is going to be my next job. So while I get it out of under the car, so yeah, that's basically everything that I have. So that's basically everything that I have achieved in this period of time that since the last time I posted, which has been 2 months. It's way too long. When I picked up all the prop shaft bits, I was like, yes, I can get this done, and I was told 10 days to get the prop shaft done, which I have dropped off on the 8th of June. Today's 10th of July, so just over, well, I think it was altogether 5 weeks to get the prop shaft done, which has rather annoyed me, because I was told 10 working days initially. Then I was told that one of the pieces that I have is too short, so I need to source another prop shaft, which was the BMW end. Luckily for me, the E65 prop fit into the E46 330D manual gearbox, so I kind of made a bit of a risk based on the part numbers on the real OEM website. So I managed to get the BMW prop shaft pretty quickly. I think they had a call on Thursday, and I dropped off the BMW prop shaft on Monday, so it was only like 2-3 working days delay. Then I rang up a week later, and they were like, oh yeah, we just got this jig bag, and I'm like, okay, so how long is it going to be? Like end of the week. Another week goes by, and I was like, right, where's my prop shaft? And they were like, oh, we're still waiting for another prop shaft part, and I'm like, it's been dropped off a week ago. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be like another 2 days if you can find it. And I'm like, what do you mean if you can find it? It's been dropped off, and the guy said, yeah, he knows where he's going and stuff like that. Anyway, after a long time, I actually rang them this morning, and they were like, I was like, well, I was told this week and the next week and then 2 days and what this and that. And they're like, oh, apparently it's done. And I was like, is it apparently done? Is it done? And the guy's like, yeah, it's done. And then I went to pick it up after work, and they're like, oh yeah, we finished it today. So I think my another phone call actually is what triggered them to complete it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna crack on with the gearbox mounts next, get the angles right for the prop shaft, and then bleed the brakes, bleed the clutch, and then hopefully the car will actually drive. So really look forward to that, and hopefully it won't be another 2 months till the next video. So thank you for watching. Hope this information is useful to someone somewhere at some point in YouTube's life. I'll see you in the next one.